So, with the coronavirus, going to the grocery store is taking your life in your hands, and I'd written a story previously about this in my collection Arugula. It's called Necessary Precautions. The Intel boys reported the Safeway on Garby Street was friendly. Those same ivory tower eggheads who'd never faced a crazed stock boy wielding a 9-inch bayonet or a store manager with an RPG had said the same thing before Tet. I donned my jungle fatigue, smeared my face green and tan, and drove my rusty magenta Honda Civic to a secure Walmart. After a 20-minute hike, I set up in the bushes atop a hill overlooking the Safeway's parking lot. I raised my field glasses and scanned the building's perimeter. I scouted entrances, emergency exits, and lines of fire. Nothing looked suspicious, just the usual minivan traffic. I watched for over an hour. Periodically, the teenager I'd codenamed Echo One collected shopping carts from between parked cars and wheeled them back toward the entrance. I pegged him as a non-combatant, but would keep an eye on him just in case. I tightened the straps of my Kevlar vest, sheathed the K-bar knife on my ankle, and chambered around in my AR-15. I was going in. My watch read 4:19. I pressed the button on the side to set the countdown timer for 5 minutes, the amount of time Charlie would need to send reinforcements. I shouldered my 40-pound pack, ran down the hill, and took cover behind a beige SUV. Next came the hard part. 80 yards of open asphalt separated me from the entrance. If there were snipers in the hills, I'd be riddled with more holes than a piñata at a porcupine's birthday party. Knowing each step could be my last, I set off in a zigzag pattern. Somehow I made it. I flattened against the wall by the doors and sucked air. My breath came in ragged gasps. I checked my watch. 2 minutes down. Already I was behind schedule. My AR-15 leveled, I burst through the sliding glass doors and swung the barrel in an arc from left to right. "I'm not out to hurt you," I announced. "Just keep your hands where I can see 'em and go about your business." For some reason, the shoppers hustled their carts out of my way. I grabbed one of the orange plastic baskets and set off. Resting my finger on the rifle's trigger guard, I followed my topo map past candy bars and feminine hygiene products. When I turned down aisle 6, I froze. The black rubber soles of my jungle boots left skid marks on the blanched almond linoleum. A display of tortilla chips blocked half the aisle. That wasn't on my map. I strained to make out any nylon fishing line that could indicate a booby trap. Should I go back? I checked my watch. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. By now, trucks full of men with AK-47s could have been bearing down on my position. I had to risk it. I inched past the tub of azure bags. Once I got to the other side, I realized I'd held my breath and exhaled. I continued to the end of the aisle and peered around the jars of Tucson Jake's pineapple salsa at the dairy section. Things seemed quiet, too quiet. Fearing an ambush, I ducked back behind the salsa and watched the dairy section's reflection in my handheld mirror. A woman wearing a forest green fleece jacket parked her cart in front of the yogurt and began scanning labels. Some would call her arrival a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. Her purse could have concealed a 9mm pistol or a fragmentation grenade. I slowed my breathing while precious seconds ticked away. Eventually, she selected a 32-ounce tub of pina colada and moved off. In a fraction of a second, I ran to the butter display, dived behind a wheel of Manchego cheese, and looked for muzzles protruding from the seafood section. I turned around and realized I'd made a potentially fatal mistake. "My God," I whispered. Nothing could have prepared me for the plethora of margarines, each toting competing health claims with words like polyunsaturated and partially hydrogenated. I contemplated butter, worse for your heart, but with fewer cancer-causing free radicals. The alarm on my watch sounded like a death knell. I had to get out before Charlie surrounded the building. I grabbed a yellow tub and raced toward the checkout. An entire retirement home of grannies blocked the express lane. I skirted the line of blue hair and dowager humps to squeeze into lane 3 and cut off a woman reaching for the checkbook in her purse. Don't try anything funny. I leveled my AR-15 at the cashier while she rang up my purchase. The moment she handed me my change, I knew the Intel boys had been wrong. Her glare reflected Lenin's goatee, SS-19 missiles roaring past Red Square, the cheerleader who'd snubbed me at the senior prom, and Ricky Green who'd stolen my lunch when I was 6. She cared nothing about the democracy and fair play you and I hold sacred. The only way to deal with such people is through the threat of superior force. I made it back to my car at the Walmart, drove through yellow lights, and took a circuitous route back to my hooch to lose any unwanted followers. I was looking forward to a cold beer and a long hot shower to wash away the stench of adrenaline when I realized I'd forgotten the eggs.